been a rather snowy winter here in Pennsylvania, so it's been a while since we had a customer spotlight video, but thankfully we have a beautiful day today. We have Eric here with a 66 Mustang Fastback. He's going to tell us all about it. So here with Eric, the owner of the 66 Mustang Fastback. We've been trying to get you in here for, I think, since Christmas.
Yeah, around there.
Weather hasn't been cooperating, but I dig this car. I follow you on Instagram. This is my perfect example of a car that you can enjoy, because this thing is, it looks great. I mean, obviously it's a little rough around the edges, but you put more money and time into the performance of this car as opposed to the cosmetics. Tell us a little bit about the car.
Sure. Right now it has 87 302 roller cam engine. It's a T5Z 5-speed. The rear end is a 57 Ford Fairlane 9-inch, so the flange length is pretty much
close
the same.
Enough.
Close enough, yeah. So it's got that going for it. It's got 355 gears, aluminum drive shaft, quick fuel 650, bunch of other odds and ends. It's got, like you said, it's got some of like the 65-66 Trans Am B-Class influences on it. It's got the the big block style aluminum radiator with the heat scrubber built into it in the oil filter. Yeah, it's just got a bunch of little stuff.
Stuff to make it a fun drive.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to go a certain direction. Just looking through history and influences on the car, like in the 60s, stuff that grabbed my attention. Went with that. Tried to modernize it a little bit. It's got Willwoods, 6 pistons up front, 4s in the rear, and I like the 5-spoke torque thrust style.
That vintage torque thrust, it just gives that kind of like the GT3 VR
look. Yeah, to me that's like signature for the 65-66 Fastback. So they're vintage Wheelworks V45s, and they're 16-inch so that it'll clear the Willwood kits.
Now I know on this car, being that you're maybe an hour and a half from here, you're a regular in our showroom getting parts over the years, but who did the work on the car? You did this all yourself? Did you farm out anything on it?
Me and my dad did all the mechanical. Some of the paint, we replaced the fenders in the front end, just going with the GT350 style with the front valance. And then we had a local friend that did the painting to the Night Mist Blue. And the hood, obviously, when I say like 65-66, like that's not 65-66.
Yeah, the 67 look there.
Yeah.
But it still gives it that kind of Shelby feel. Even if you take different years and throw them together, it works. It has, you know, between that and the apron, it just has that like race look in the front end. And I said, so far, like you said, you've done a lot of the mechanicals. What's next for the car? I mean, I know you've had the car for a long time. You've done a ton of work to it. And what's your short-term plan, and what are you thinking maybe long-term with the car?
Short-term is just driving it as it is, enjoying it.
Which is perfect.
Yeah.
Absolutely perfect. This is a great car to drive.
It's a fun car. It turns heads. Like you said, yeah, it's rough around the edges. It's got issues that if you just dig into it, I know it's gonna, you're gonna find
all those. Yeah, we have a list of things in our head we're gonna fix someday.
Yeah, and it's just to the point where it's drivable, it's fun, and if I go to that step of tearing into it and making all the sheet metal or bodywork right, it's like I know that it's gonna
make it too nice.
Yeah, it's gonna take a while, and I just don't want to miss out on driving it. And it is what it is. I enjoy it. It's fun. You know, it can get chips and dings and whatnot, and it's not.
And when you told me about the car, you're worried about the look of it, I said, it's perfect. Like, I love cars like this that, you know, it's nice enough that you can, you said, it turns heads. People are like, wow, it's a fastback, but you can drive it. You can park it. You can take it places, not worry about it. Now, you were saying you had long-term visions of maybe a different chassis and even maybe a Coyote-based motor or something bigger.
Yeah, maybe long-term. Like I was telling you, it's to a point where I can drive it and enjoy it. If I get to the point where I want to blow it apart and do the bodywork, sheet metal, whatnot, I was thinking maybe like the Roadster Speed Shop chassis.
Okay, very nice.
And you know, maybe a 5.2 Coyote, or who knows what happens with the Godzilla motor when it comes out. Maybe go that route, or more modern. The other direction, I think I would just keep with the Beep class style, the GT350 influence.
Okay.
And
now, have you ever actually tracked the car? Have you autocrossed it or road raced it or anything?
No, that's on my bucket list of things to do.
Okay.
I'd love to take it to Pocono Raceway and go around the track with that, but it just hasn't.
That would definitely be a fun thing to do with it for sure. As far as you said, this was your first car. How many years have you had it?
I've had it 16 years.
Okay.
It was actually my first car.
Probably your last car too?
It might be.
tell us about how you came to acquire this car. Like you said, it was your first car. You bought it a long time ago, but how did you end up with a '66 Fastback?
So my grandparents helped make it possible for me. We actually bought it off of eBay.
Okay.
And picked it up, rolled back, brought it home, did a couple things and started driving it, and then just the ongoing project of changing and modifying parts just kind of started happening.
To everybody who has a project.
Yeah, it just doesn't, it's a disease, it doesn't end. So my dad and I were driving it 222 the one day, and we lost the oil pump and we didn't know it.
Okay.
And so it seized up the motor, melted the mains right out of the blocks.
Okay.
So that's where the 87
Gotcha.
302 came in. And so the joke was like, Dad broke my car. So it's just been this ongoing project. So, you put the new motor in, and then the old transmission couldn't take the new power, so we had to put a shift kit, and
the whole spiraling out of control
we rebuilt the
car.
transmission, and then we blew the rear end out in the 8-inch.
Okay.
So that's what spurred on the 9-inch.
Okay.
So it's just been this evolving project, and it just happened that like when the transmission went, my dad was driving it, and like when the
So it's obviously his fault.
It's obviously his fault. And then when the rear end went, he happened to be driving it. So it's just been this.
So you're not going to let Dad drive home?
Well, so it gets even better, because the joke was always like, when my dad drives it, he's going to break it. So the one day, so when my wife and I got married, we moved. My dad and I still worked at the same place. And the one morning I asked him if he could drive the car into work, and then we'd switch vehicles, and then I was going to make a loop, keep it at our house at the time for the weekend. And so get into work, and he comes up to me and he's like, I need to talk to you. He's like, I wrecked your car. And I was like, okay, all right, well, like what happened? Let's go look at it. And he's like, well, I went over a curb with it. And I'm like, okay, that's not
how big of a curb.
That's not that bad. And he's telling me where it's at, and he's like that curb. It's like it's a curb, and then it's like a 30-foot drop. So I have no idea how this car is still straight. I don't know how we drove this car home, but that's what started off. Like, I tore the front end apart off the car, and then I decided I want to do the 5-speed. That makes logical sense. That the issue's the sheet metal, but you got to swap the C4 out and put a 5-speed.
So maybe Dad's not hurting the car every time he drives it. Dad's finding the weak points that you need to upgrade. So maybe we should bring Dad in here.
Yeah.
Come in here, Dad. Come on.
Yeah. So
let's bring Dad in here. We can thank Dad for all the modifications that you've had to make to the car over the years.
So our joke was that the Duke boys should have drove Fastback Fords, because they would have held up better than the 69 Chargers.
True. So we all know how many 69 Chargers were truly destroyed by those movies over the years.
Quite a few. So yeah, the joke is that Dad went Evel Knievel with the Fastback down the embankment, but
it survived.
Yes, it survived.
And now it's better than ever.
Yeah, but it's crazy. Like I pulled up the spec sheet for the frame points measurement for the points, and it all checked out. So it's like I have no idea how we drove that car home.
You know what? It's still here. It's a great looking car. We all love a good father-son build. It's definitely, there's nothing better than bonding over building a car. I want to thank you for bringing this car up here today.
Yeah,
Again,
absolutely.
A beautiful car, and we can't wait to see what you do with it in the future.
Yeah, thanks for having me.